everything that could have gone wrong went right for A&M in that second half. Like they just pulled a lot of rabbits out of their hat. Is that, as you rewatch it or look back on it now, is that a similar feeling for you? Or
I thought they really got into a good rhythm. They made plays. They executed well. They made some competitive plays, and we made a few mistakes as well, and didn't help ourselves. And but they never went away. I know that. We had really pretty good control over the game through 2.5, almost through 3 quarters, and just couldn't put them away. And then they got us on our heels, and we found a way to survive. So, I give our guys a lot of credit, under the circumstances, and but it shows the ability and the toughness that they have as well. Probably gave them a lot of confidence moving forward, but they didn't really pull rabbits out of their hat by any stretch. I thought that they just executed well, and we didn't play particularly great, either that last quarter. Until the end, and then we made some terrific plays there, at the end.
Did that give you some good coaching points for later in the year, things that they could get better on? And how did that improve? How did that help you guys later?
Absolutely. Just, the effort. We really talked about Kayvon's play where he knocks the ball out of bounds, the effort on that play. And how, again, that was, one of the few plays that really, made the difference, in not only the game, but really even on the year. And that's what it comes down to, sometimes. And just the extraordinary effort. You don't ever give up on a play. You never know when that's going to be the difference in the game. And just to always assume that every play can be the difference in the game. So just really wanted to promote effort, playing with passion and with a sense of desperation every play.
Coach,
based
the
on
4 returning wide receivers they have are really talented. At the beginning against last year, is that kind of like looking in a mirror a little bit for you, just as good as their receivers are?
Yeah, they've got terrific receivers. They're experienced, they're big, long, fast. So it's a great challenge, some tough matchups, and they got a lot of chemistry together, as well as what you see.
Is there any more of a bounce in the step this week of the defenders? I know you have a lot of new starters, but the fact that A&M put up such big numbers and gave you guys such a fight last year?
So what was the question?
Is there more of a bounce in the step of your defensive team, more of a sense of urgency at all?
I thought we had a great sense of urgency a year ago going into the game, and I would think it's the same. Got great respect for them. We've got great players and good schemes, and whether we beat them, whether we lost to them, I think it's all the same. The approach has got to be the same. And if you ask a player, maybe they might have more of a sense of urgency, but I know from a mindset, it's a great challenge, no matter how you look at it. And again, through a good part of that game, we played really, really well. We got 3 points on the board with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, and again got hot, and we didn't complement each other well on either side of the ball, and we survived. So. But that was last year. This is a whole new year, but the challenge is no less daunting, without question.
Brent,
how has
Darian,
Kellen changed since Clemson fans saw him last year through film study? How has he developed?
I don't know. He's the same guy. He's excellent player, can extend plays, understands defenses. I'm sure there's a maturation that's taken place. Necessarily able to quantify, but he's got a great feel for their offense going into their second year. His ability to execute is probably at a really, really high level. Without making mistakes. He's a great runner, very dangerous runner. Again, can extend plays. And receivers do a great job at helping him extend plays. Really, really good system. He's going to have balance in it, and he just does a great job. Boy, he can throw. He's got a huge arm. Throw from one hash to the other on a dime, and great touch, and excellent player. We won't see anybody that's better than him all year.
Against Georgia Tech, you played a lot of 3-down looks with the jack. What does playing that kind of defense? What advantage does it give you? What does it do? What is the advantage of it?
It's just we're multiple. We do that against everybody. So it's a change up, different schemes, protection, run game wise, and different rules for the offense, and helps us. What you notice about Georgia Tech on those offensive sets. So you saw our defensive sets. What you notice about their offensive sets?
They were very spread.
Yeah, they were all the way to the sideline.
All the way to the sideline.
So it helps you, cover more grass, and so it's just a change up.
Brent, DK's first start at corner after you graded out on film. What did you think of him in your own personal take on his first game?
Had a winning grade, played well. Wasn't challenged a whole lot, but was really in a good position. His fundamentals and technique, for the most part, really good. And his maturation through fall camp was, real noticeable as well.
How important is it to him to see his matchup going into this week?
So everybody's matchup's important. His matchup, I'll be very honest, is no more important than anybody else's. Everybody needs to play well. You can't go slop around for 4 quarters and expect to win. So everybody needs to play well.
Coach, A&M lost a great back in Travion Williams. What kind of a back is Corbin, the new starter? It looks like he might not be as powerful, but pretty good in space.
I don't know. He broke a lot of tackles last week, and he's a good player. And they were deep at running back. They got Corbin at 23 and 21. Strong, explosive players, catch the ball well, protect well, good instincts, for what they do. And I think you need to defend their schemes. And they got great players, across the board up front and skilled. So Corbin's a really good player.
Going back and watching it, in my limited football knowledge, the defensive ends, you didn't have to tell them blow them the other night, which is what you always want. But which of those guys really stood out to you?
Who stood out? I thought all of the guys played well. All, maybe except one, had a winning grade and were productive. Thought the group played well. I was pleased. Again, we had up front. Those are 2 new starters, whole D-line, brand new starters. Again, look at the whole group as a whole. That they're a part of it. But again, you got a bunch of guys that played their first game either as starters or again first time ever. Any meaningful snap. So all that being said, I was really pleased, but they in particular thought that they played well, could play better. We had some bad angles to the ball, setting the edge, whether in the run game or some of them when they're moving the pocket. We got to be better and more precise, quicker. And again, got to do a better job tackling. Getting guys to the ground, not being surprised that here I am, I'm free. But a couple times in some coverage, they had us schemed up on a wheel route out of the backfield for the longest pass play. And then I guess got to do better on a couple of fade routes. But I thought that group really played pretty good.
Brent, what about your linebackers, Braylon and Chad Smith, their first action this year?
Both of them very productive, showed up, made a lot of plays, can still play better, and will play better as they're getting more and more comfortable, gaining experience. But as a group, we missed some layups that were there, some tackles for loss, a bunch of tackles for loss. Just can't be surprised, got to be sure of ourselves, have a little bit better fundamentals. Got our base too wide at times. And I thought their backs ran hard, but we're going to see that all year. And so we just got to do a better job finishing plays and getting guys on the ground. But managing the game and some of our coverage and overall execution good. Just got to clean up really some tackling and guys take a little bit better angles at times.
Denzel Johnson said that when he thinks back, he thinks he caught your eye his senior year at the South game against Daniel.
Yeah.
Do you recall that?
Yeah, he was all over the field. Coach Sweeney was there as well. And we knew who he was, but he really had an excellent game. And that's Coach Sweeney was intrigued. So.
And you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it rewarding to see guys who kind of flew under the radar in high school? I mean, you've had a recent history of guys who, weren't five-star guys and how they're contributing.
Yeah, I got a great appreciation for work ethic and commitment, consistency, and guys that put the work in to see them have, realize the fruits of their labor. I'm sure that's pleasing, when they can play at a high level. And Denzel's really, he was not a great student. He'll be the first one to tell you out of high school, and has done a complete, 180. And so very proud of, what he's been able to accomplish, both on and off the field. And he's a big part of what we're doing.
Coach Sweeney said a lot of your freshmen were kind of wide-eyed early in the game on Thursday night. It's
Sure.
good to get that out of their system before a game like that.
There'll still be some wide-eye moments. That won't be the end of that. But again, you just got to keep playing. And again, it's a developmental game. The more you play, the more comfortable you are. The less mistakes, the better discipline you play with. But there are certainly those moments.
Leadership-wise, did you see guys stepping into the role and taking over?
Thought our secondary, a bunch of good leaders there, linebacker as well. And really just a selfless attitude for a bunch of young guys. A lot of times it's, think about your babies and children. They're some of the most selfish things on this planet because they don't know any better, and that's a lot of times that's what you have when you have young players. They're very selfish and feel bad for themselves and don't want to split time or don't want to be corrected. And by and large, we have not had that issue at all with as many young guys that we have. And guys pull for each other and help each other and serve each other. And so it's been a real, that's fun as a coach when you're dealing with, because you got, the issues are always still there. But when you got guys that have a willingness to be led, that you're coaching, got guys that are pouting, got their lips stuck out. It makes it a lot funner. Just more fun to deal with guys with a selfless attitude. So that's been real pleasing. Something very, very noticeable with this group of guys.
In any ways at all?
Oh, thanks. What's it been like for you just going up against a guy like Jimbo Fisher all these years?
I mean, Jimbo's a great coach. He's had incredible success. And we see, there's a lot of great coaches out there. I don't ever look at, it's Coach Fisher, or it's Coach Saban, or you just go down the list. I look at schemes and players, and he's had incredible success. He's a winner, knows what he's doing. But, I spend zero time reflecting about that.
What about his scheme? Because he seems to scheme you guys pretty good every year. What about does he do that kind of catches you off guard that he does so well compared to other people?
I don't know. I don't know. I think we played him twice when I was at Oklahoma. 3 times at Oklahoma. He was at OC, LSU's team. He won the national championship. And then played twice at Florida State there. And then since I've been here, so you have to go back and check out what the success has been or not. But he's got, again, good players and good scheme, good balance. He's a winning coach. I think he's had success against about everybody. And so, I don't know what it is. He's a good coach. And he gets paid $75 million a year, or on his contract, right? $7.5 million. So it's not a Clemson thing, right? Right. So,
Brent, in any ways at all, is it more satisfying in any ways at all to coach a guy like a Chad Smith, or Scott mentioned Denzel earlier, that wait their turn and really stick out the highs and lows, as opposed to a Christian Wilkins or another guy that walks in a lot more ready-made to hit the field?
You have an appreciation for all of them. If you got a hot, really talented guy that has got poor work habits and he's self-indulged, and that's no fun to coach that guy. that can be a cancer in your program. So it's really, you enjoy coaching all of them, but especially when they've got, again, humility and toughness and work ethic. I think that's what, makes it fun to see them have success, and just have a great appreciation and respect for guys that maybe have to work a little harder, or, be a little more patient. It's neat to see those guys get rewarded as well, and great examples. You don't have everybody come in, that just add water. Most of them you have to assemble. It takes time to do that, and so I think the core of your team are going to be guys that you have to assemble, and you've got some special players that have unique skill sets and really talented. You add that to that other group of guys. I think that's a great combination.
Coach Scott just said you often see the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. We hear that all the time from coaches. Is that an axiom that you buy into?
I don't know. I'm sure there's some statistics that say that. I don't know. I think that I always think that the best teams and the best units that I've been around, one of the defining characteristics is you do get better. And there doesn't mean there's failure along the way. You don't have a bad game, bad plays, but the body of work that you get better. And again, which you would expect when you play. And, but it doesn't always happen either. And so that's the challenge with guys, to continue to come and go to work every day. Fundamentals and technique and eyes, all the little things that make the big difference. But you're hopeful that'll take place.
Jimbo came up under Saban and kind of has that similar aura or way he does things, I guess. Dabo has presented, I think, a very different way of doing things. As you talk to younger coaches now or other coaches, do you find there's more kind of interest in Dabo's philosophy about how things are done, or that there's more people kind of emulating him in the coaching ranks?
And you're talking about scheme,
or just kind of in the way they run a program?
Yeah, I mean, I've never worked for Saban or Jimbo, so I really, don't know. But I know that here, there's great balance. Coach Sweeney, you got to grind. You want to be successful, you got to grind. You're not going to be able to run away from that. But Coach Sweeney, chooses to have fun along the way, to enjoy the journey, and to bring proper perspective, and really reinforces that. Not just says, hey, we need to have fun, so everybody put a smile on your face and have fun. And I know you know that. But he reinforces it by living that out, and choosing to look at the bright side and the positivity, and again, enjoying the relationships and things of that nature, trying to serve the players during the process, not the other way around, and just has a unique way to have great balance and not let the pressure of the game and of winning affect his philosophy.
I guess there used to be, for a long time, that sort of like Saban model of like the more hours you work with, the better coach you must be. And do you think that people have kind of seen a different side of how you can approach the job?
Yeah, and I don't know that's a Coach Sweeney thing. I think there's been coaches, throughout, for a long time that have chosen to do it. There's lots of different ways to skin a cat, and there are some coaches, whoever they are, I don't know who they are, that are very demanding when it comes to time. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different way, and I think it just depends on how you want to look at it. But we got great balance here. I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. And even with our players, less is more when it comes to Coach Sweeney and how he runs the program. And we're under our 20 hours every single week when it comes to time on the field. And I think there's a lot to that. Even in the summer, I think there's a mandated number of days that you have to have off throughout the year. I think we're over 14. We're over 2 weeks. We give our players at least 2 or more weeks off than what is required to give them off. And that's a rarity. That's not the norm. and the human nature is, hey, Coach Venables, would you like another day of walkthrough, or just let him go? I'm signing up for walkthrough every time, and like every single time. But he's got a unique way to his management, his philosophy, and having a pulse on what we need, when to pull back, when to push, and it's very profound. And I think as a result, our players they know that, they're very aware of what goes on in college football, and that's very abnormal, all the way to again, I know we've probably talked about it, but multiple playoff or national championship games, cutting out 45 minutes of meeting time to talk about life lessons, and to take pressure off guys and things of that nature. And you're scrambling, feeling like you're squeezed with your time. What happened to my meeting? But again, that's a classic example. Is less is more sometimes.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.